Hello again. Today we're going to follow up on deciding that everything is either under the heading of matter or thought. Thought being your personality, your living in spite of the outsides that are possibly uh, inanimate and not moving, although some things are in motion for sure. Well, we now know or think that we have matter outside of us and thought, the life urge inside. And but we should consider them combined and in a scale, a graph, if you will, where we figure in life which of the two is dominant at the moment and how it looks in the past and in the future. And what I'm finding, to talk about it just on the surface, is that when these bions were created in the realm, a thought medium, as we discussed, their matter was in there created. That's a big subject to explain, and I'm working on it. Uh, so this matter came from that thought element and became what we face and feel and have our senses made of it in the universe. The universe, too, is made from matter, the combination of it all. Now, where does thought come in? Well, in the beginning, when matter's form was created, that's a big subject to work on. Uh, the it took off. It just blossomed and pushed everything out of its way. It wanted to succeed and did succeed. Not forever, but for, in our years, epochs, a long time, the length of our universe, which has a beginning and will have an ending. Even scientists uh, come to that conclusion. They are so now thought is not pushed out of the way. It's just controlled until matter begins to slow down, wear out, whatever, from friction, or it seems that way, and thought then will come in as much as it can, as it is doing now. So we have something called a balance scale, where in the beginning of the universe, when it's materially formed, it was all matter's situation, and things were violent. The Bayans were not happy. They didn't like being next to each other, and there was a lot of antagonism and fighting for the rights of their own because they had no guidance except natural tendencies to what their nature indicated. And it was all forceful. and violent and disastrous. Explosions all over, and finally, after that zenith of destruction, but it's not destruction, really just violence, the calming situation had to start, and thought was an element of bringing that on. And slowly but surely, thought would feel or be allowed to assert itself, but under matter's control. Not as it is in heaven, but as it is on earth, where a mixture exists. So slowly, thought slipped in, and the universe turned from violence to a bit of control of its own nature and forces. This is the word change. You're going to hear a lot about that, but not wild change just for change. Change because there's a purpose and a reason, and something is working to do that as it wants. It's the story. It's the leader of its fate. So that will come now. So we have finally the moment of the amoebas, when water and earth and matter was in control, and although violent still, and it could be an outbreak at any time, there were periods of passivity where and each could be doing its thing under while the other was working. Thought matter, of course. And so life emerged of various sorts, animals, and in the ocean, and eventually the great spark of the human form of mankind as we know it came about many, many years ago to identify we as a new species. And that's the beginning of everything, and our minds, and of course, I think truly the beginning of philosophy.